Hey, what's up, turtles? Crick here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Battle Horse Knives Fieldcrafter XL. We're going to look at the specs and run through these real quick, and there's a story behind this knife which we'll get to after the specs. Overall length, 9 inches. The price for this knife, including the sheath, well, I will show the sheath, we haven't seen that yet, is $140. Scandi grind, you can see that on there, is a hard buff. It looks like it's a hard buff right on the cutting edge. So, a super small micro bevel on this Scandi. Squared spine, a little bit of a portion right up here. 01 tool steel, 1/8 inch thick. Moving down the handle, you see 2 bolts right here, lanyard tube. This is a natural canvas micarta. You can see there's actually green liners, canvas, or excuse me, I don't know if this is canvas, it's micarta, and there's actually micarta liners in there too, which is kind of cool. I haven't had a knife before that had micarta as the liners as well. I think it's kind of a cool look. And from this shot too, you can probably start to see the profile of the handle shape. Thinner top up here, got a swell right down here, and a flare out down by the pommel. This is a really comfortable knife. All right, let me get the other knife. Like I said, there's some backstory to this knife. So what I'm holding up top here is the original Fieldcrafter version that we did. Was it this year? It was last. I'm not sure exactly when we did this. Okay. Moving forward. This was the original version. We did a video on it, and I made some suggestions and some of my opinions in that video, and unaware to me that they kind of took those suggestions and came out with this knife. They widened the blade. You could see how much wider. This is about 1 1/4 wide, this blade right here. Thinner steel. Handle shape pretty much kind of stayed the same, just a little bit more of a flare out towards the pommel. You can see the contours of the micarta themselves and see where there's just like a contour, you know, where there's really close circles, that's a high spot. And it goes down to a low spot. But the point I'm making is look how much wider the XL version is compared to the original. And to me, that makes it way more comfortable to use for extended periods of time. This is tulip poplar, soft wood. I'm going to baton some with it, and we'll do some. There we go. A little bit of a knot in there, it's all right. Try to take some of this bark off, and I'm going to try to do some feather sticking with it, because initially when I was testing this knife, I went out and made a all natural bow drill using this knife. It wasn't completely old technology, but start to finish I used this knife. I didn't want to strop it afterwards. I continued to use it just to see edge retention. So I have stropped it since then, but I've been really happy with this, with 01 tool steel and its edge retention. I really do like it on knives, and you do have to be conscious of it though, that it will rust. Now I'm just going to try to make some real fine curls right here. I love the Scandi grind for working with wood. It's not a bad official initial first curl. It's pretty damp, it's pretty chilly, I'm losing dexterity, but that's a really great time to test the knife, test yourself, stand still, you know, filming. But I'm gonna keep curling this piece of wood. Oh, look at that. Oops. Some videos in the past I talked about when I'm feathering, I don't always like holding the knife at this angle. So it's something I've been working on. Look how deep that went. Not on purpose. I want really light curls right now. There we go. And that got deep down there. I'm getting deep right down there in my cut. I'm really soft here, and then I'm getting, so let me just take into account the angle I'm going, where I'm pushing, and let me try to keep that consistent the whole way. There, that's a little better. Got deep. There's always a sweet spot with every single knife. How we decide to hold it and use it, there's always a sweet spot. And you saw me struggling with it at first, but I'm happy with where I found it. Let's try take the angle this way with my hand. Try to kick the feathers this way towards the camera. This is usually how I like to do it. I feel like I have the most control. But that's just probably because of practice. See, if I want to get curls that are super curly, I'm hardly putting any pressure. That's literally the way of the knife, and then me taking a little bit off of it. And I'm right on that swoop in this spear point blade too, so it gives you a really nice place to cut. You get a lot of curls, a lot of control from right there, as opposed to the flat part of the blade. All right, should we try to use the knife and light these on fire with the ferro rod? Is that enough, Stoney? Not the prettiest. Not the most effective, but let's try it anyways, and we'll see. All right, hold tight. Sounds like it's in there. Should be on my belt, right? All right, there's a ferro rod. Oh wait, should we just use this instead? Now, give myself a little bit of working room. All right, so I think some of these might be good enough to light with the spark. So what I want to do is kind of put the tip into the wood to kind of keep this knife kind of stationary. Let me see. Do I like it like that? All right, let's try it. You ready, Stoney? Give myself the best chance possible. Ideally, that's not jumping around like that. Trying something new. Well, maybe I'm just going to hold the knife free from the log and go that way. There it was. Just technique. Trying something different, that's alright. You can see my blunders. I don't care. That worked pretty well. Just do a little bit of notching, just some more cutting. Take this off. Just using this kind of like a draw knife just to get kind of, you know, how the handle feels, stuff like that. And I am cutting towards myself, which is a dangerous move. Anyone's going to tell you with knife safety, never bring the blade towards yourself, but there's safety in this because the knife's sharp. I'm doing controlled cuts. I'm keeping the elbows in at my side, which basically restricts my range of motion, so I'm not just dragging a knife really wildly close to my body. Like I said, just experimenting with this. This isn't always how I'd cut a notch. You know, this way is really effective, much more effective. I'm just doing it for purposes to show you. Like I said, I use this to carve for a while, make a bow drill set. I've done other work with it, testing it out for, I don't know how long I've had this knife now. I've been using it. It's been a while. But I never noticed that I'm using the knife. Meaning when I come to the handle, or when I'm thinking about the handle, it's super comfortable because I don't notice I'm using it for extended periods of time. And that's exactly, in my mind, how a hand tool should be. That you never feel you're using it in the sense of creating blisters or hot spots in your hand. You're going to feel it in your muscles actually using it, but not discomfort in the hand. And I want to talk about the handle up close right now. When I first got the knife, when I was checking out the handle, looking at it, holding it, I was a little skeptical because it felt thinner for how wide it is. It felt thinner. And you can see up top here that that's pretty thin. That's not a full-size handle up there. And guess what? It doesn't affect the comfort of this knife at all. I actually really like that it's pretty thin up there. How you have this taper from the palm swell coming up really much thinner than I'm accustomed to on a knife up here. And it's still plenty of handle to hold when you're doing really strong push cuts. And this feels like it just makes the knife a lot more agile in the hand when you're holding it up here. If you want to pinch it for any other types of cuts that might involve that type of hold, I am really happy with this knife. I really am. That's what I'm trying to get to. I think BHK has made a really, really great bushcraft knife with this. I really do. So here's a sheath I talked about earlier, and it looks like just that JRE Industries classic brown sheath that comes with all Battle Horse knives, LT's knives. You got a number. I assume that's the design style size of the sheath. Ferro rod loop, pretty nice thick leather. You got a welt. Looks like there's edge coat on here, which is the product sheath makers and leather workers use to protect basically sort of like the exposed grain of wood. Kind of same principle of why you'd use this. You can see that, right? It's a brown sheath, 2 stitch lines. I'll talk on that then. This edge coat, what I was talking about, is black. Really nice feature. And like I said, I'm really happy with this sheath and the knife. $140 package, I think, is a pretty good deal considering what's out in the market and market prices. You can tell this is stitched using a machine because I can see the feet marks, the presser foot, the feet marks that you see on a sewing machine. It's not breaking the top surface of the leather though, so it's not affecting its functionality at all, but it is a cosmetic thing, which does not bother me at all. 2 grommets in this as well. It looks like there's a rivet. There's a rivet missing right up here, and I've seen some of the sheaths come from them that there'll be a second rivet up here, and I think maybe what that's for is just to tighten up this belt loop so you get this a little bit tighter on your belt, as opposed to, I don't know, maybe just decided not to put it in this one. Again, these 2 holes doesn't bother me at all. But for the package deal, the knife in the sheath, good to go. Pretty good stuff. So that's basically all I wanted to share with you about this knife today. Like I said, I'm super happy with the changes they made. The original Fieldcrafter was a good knife. It got a good review from us. But how they took the suggestions I gave in that video and produced the XL version, I think is just, they did a really, really great job. So I'm commending you, BHK. This is a really great knife design. And they sent this over to us, and I'm not just saying that I like this because they sent it, because I give an honest review regardless. So if you want to purchase this knife, you're going to have to call BHK. I guess go to the website, get their number. I'm not sure why they're running it that way, their business model, how they do things specifically. So, like I said, if you're into it, call them. I would personally would like to see just the knife on the website if you're planning on selling it. If you have a model you like, you plan on selling it, put it on your website. Make it easier for us, the consumer, to buy your goods. You don't want us to be annoyed with having to go through the purchase process. So with that being said, if you have any questions about this knife, let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know your impressions as well. I really, really do like this knife. I was really surprised with the handle. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but I think this handle shape is really, really great. Till the next video, this is Craig with Black Owl. Later, turtles.